Hello everyone and welcome back to Tingles Gaming and welcome to episode 1 of my Scarlet Keys campaign for Arkham Horror, the living card game. This episode 1, is all about picking an investigator and designing a deck to take through the campaign. I am playing true solo. I'm only going to be playing with one investigator, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to get on a recording how I go about putting a deck together. So without further ado, let's get across to the table and see what's going on. Okay, here we are at the table. You'll notice on there that I've got some cards out already, all a red colour. Now, red is the colour that signifies the survivor class in Arkham Horror. I've never played as a survivor. I tend to play as Mystic is my favourite class because I like being able to cast spells and all that sort of stuff. But this time round, I've never actually played as an investigator ever. So I thought I'd dig through my collection, see what survivors I've got, and make a little video on how I would put a deck together. Now, I am not a deck building expert in any way, shape or form. I play a lot of card games, have played a lot of card games. I know the general principles, but I'm not one that sort of knows all the ins and outs of every little mechanic, every interaction between different cards. It's not going to be that type of deck building exercise. There are plenty of other people on the internet that will be able to give you a much better insight into deck building. But I thought I'd show you how I do it. So I don't have a full collection of Arkham Horror. So I don't have access to every single survivor or every single investigator. But these are the ones that I've got. So I thought I'd get them out. Start off by going through them, see what they do, see what their stats are, see what shenanigans they've got, and then pick one. And then once we've done that, we'll go through the card pool that I've got and pull together a deck of 30 cards. And then we'll go from there. So we've got 6 survivor investigators. We've got Daryl Simmons, who's the latest one from my perspective from the Scarlet Keys. I haven't got Feast of the new expansion. I haven't got that yet. It's on order. So we've got Daryl Simmons, we've got Bob Jenkins, we've got Ashcan Pete, we've got Calvin Wright, we've got William Yorick, and we've got Wendy Adams. They're the 6 survivors that I've got. Now, for those of you that haven't played or don't play Arkham Horror with an investigator, we'll take Daryl, for example. You get your little mini card, which you can use to denote one side is colour, the other side is black and white, and you can use that to flip to let you know when they've taken their actions. You get the investigator's cards. You get usually some sort of signature asset or thing that they do. And you also usually get, in most of the time, a signature weakness. So that's what we've got for Daryl. So we're going to take each of these in turn. I'm not going to spend too long a time on them, but just going to have a quick run through about what their stats are and what they do. Then I'm going to pick one. So Daryl Simmons is got the photographer title. He's got 2 will. He's got 5 intellect. He's got 2 strength, and he's got 3 agility. These are the main stats at the top. So will is used for testing a lot of encounter cards and the like. The intellect is the main stat you're going to be using when you're trying to find clues, which is a very big thing in Arkham Horror. Your fight stat, again, fighting enemies and all that type of stuff, again, an important stat. And agility for some classes really important. So he has got the reporter keyword, and it says you begin the game with Daryl's Kodak in play. So his signature asset is already in play when you start. So it's really good, actually, because you don't have to go digging through your deck or trying to find it. It starts in play. And I'll come back to that in a second. He's got a fast action, which is during a skill test at your location, spend 1 evidence from an asset you control. reduce the difficulty of this test by 2. And his elder sign effect is +1, place 1 evidence on an asset you control. He's got 6 health and he's got 8 sanity, so he's quite decent. His deck size is 30, and on the back of the card, it gives you some of the deck building requirements. He can take any survivor cards, levels 0 to 5. He can take seeker cards, 0 to 2. He can take neutral cards, 0 to 5 as well. So he's pretty good. Daryl's Kodiak is usually a 2-cost asset. Comes in with some, I'm not going to go through these in a great deal of detail because otherwise we'll be here all day. So it's a Daryl Simmons deck only. He's got a reaction. After an enemy or treachery enters play, exhaust Daryl's Kodak and place 1 resource on it as evidence from the token pool. Place 1 resource from the token pool on that enemy or treachery as evidence. And another reaction, after you discover any number of clues, move that many evidence on enemies or treacheries at that location or not at any location to Daryl's Kodak. So basically, it seems to me what he's doing is he's putting evidence on things, doing things to put it on here, and then he can use it to give himself a -2 to the test, which is pretty good. And he's got a signature weakness of ruined film. That's remove 4 evidence from cards you control. Each evidence you cannot remove that way, take 1 horror. So links in with his Kodak. So he's quite good. Quite a lot of sound of him. Then we've got Bob Jenkins. He is a salesman, entrepreneur, and he comes in with his cards. He's got 2 will, 4 intellect, 3 fight, and 3 agility. So it's a bit more rounded than Daryl. Having a 5 in a stat usually means that you're going to be lower in some other stats, but he's a 2, 4, 3, 3. Entrepreneur, it says at any time an investigator at your location may reveal to you the item assets in their hands. You may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used to play item assets from your hand from the hand of an investigator at your location under their control. So he seems like a bit more of a multiplayer sort of person. It doesn't say other investigators, but yeah, he's 6'8", 6 health, 8 sanity, so same as Daryl. He does feel a bit more multiplayer. Again, deck size 30. He can take survivor cards and rogue cards levels 1 to 5. Oh no, sorry, survivor cards level 0, rogue cards levels 1 to 5. Oh, okay, and neutral cards levels up to 0 to 5, and up to 5 other rogue cards level 0. So okay, he's a bit different actually. So he's actually more roguey. He's certainly going to go into that with his XP. So he's got that. Got Shrewd Dealings, which is a 2-cost asset. Bob Jenkins deck only. Reduce the cost of each item asset you play by 1. As a reaction, when you play an item asset, play under the control of any investigator at your location. Then we've got his signature weakness, greed. Revelation, take 1 horror. If you have 10 fewer resources, take an additional horror. 5 or fewer resources, take 1 additional horror, and 0 resources, take 1 additional horror. So that could be quite nasty. But he feels like he's a bit more multiplayer, a bit more not solo. So let's put him to one side. Back. One of the original investigators, Ashcan Pete. He's a 4 will, 2 intellect, 2 fight, 3 agility. He's a drifter. He begins the game with Duke in play. He's got a fast action, discard a card from your hand, ready an asset you control. His elder sign effect is +2 and you get to ready Duke. He's a 6'5" investigator. So compared to 6'8", 6'5", that's not great. But there is some stuff that does affect that. I'll come to that in a second. He has got survivor cards 0 to 5, neutral cards 0 to 5, and up to 5 level 0 cards from any other class. Pretty wide ranging. He begins the game with Duke, his faithful hound or loyal hound. He's got 2 health on it and 3 sanity. So that's one of the reasons why Ashcan's only down at 5. And you can use Duke to exhaust and fight with a base skill of 4, and it does +1 damage. And you can use Duke to investigate as well with a base skill of 4. So quite nice, quite nice. His signature asset is Racked by Nightmares. Exhaust all assets you control and put Racked by Nightmares into play in your threat area. Assets you control cannot ready, and it costs you 2 actions to get rid of that. He's quite a strong and sturdy investigator. Seems like a fan favourite as well. Calvin Wright. He is known as the Haunted Cursed Drifter. His stats are 0 will, 0 intellect, 0 fight, and 0 agility. Oh, he sounds rubbish. He sounds rubbish. However, you get +1 will and +1 intellect for each horror on him. And you get +1 fight and +1 agility for each damage you take. So he's all about taking damage and horror. And his elder sign effect is +0. You can either heal 1 damage or horror, or take 1 direct damage or horror. So he's all about, he's only 6'6". He's 6'6", so he can't take a lot. But I mean, there are obviously shenanigans in the decks that allow him to, and decks that are built clearly that around that. 6'6", and he is survivor cards 0 to 5, spirit cards. So spirit is a trait, so it can be across multiple classes. Spirit cards levels 0 to 3, and neutral cards 0 to 5. He's got a 1-cost asset until the end of time. Calvin Wright deck only. Direct damage and direct horror may be assigned to until the end of time. It's got 2 and 2 on it. So that does actually bump him up to an 8/8. Does not come in. So you've got to go digging for this. It's not like Duke or the Kodak. This is actually in your deck. So you're going to be taking a little bit of a risk. And then he's got Voice of the Messenger as his weakness. It's a revelation. I get to choose one, take 1 direct damage and suffer 1 physical trauma, or take 1 direct horror and suffer 1 mental trauma. Physical trauma and mental trauma are quite nasty. They carry over between scenarios. So if you take those sorts of damages, that would drop in. Let's say you took a physical and a mental trauma during a scenario, that would drop him down to, when he started the next one, he was started at a 5/5. But yeah, so that's quite nasty. You got to choose one of those as well. So that's Calvin. And then we've got William Yorick. He is a warden, gravedigger. He's got a reaction to you can exhaust him. After you defeat an enemy, play an asset from your discard pile, in brackets, paying its cost limit once per round. So you can pull stuff out of your discard pile. Elder sign effect for him is +2. If this test is successful, return 1 card from your discard pile to your hand. And he's an 8/6. So flip of Daryl. He's got 8 health and 6 sanity. His deck size is the same as everybody else's, 30. Survivor cards 0 to 5. Neutral cards 0 to 5. Guardian cards 0 to 2. Quite nice. He's got an asset, an event, 0-cost event. Bury them deep. William Yorick deck only. It's fast. Play after a non-elite enemy at your location is defeated. Add that enemy to the victory display and discard. So that's quite nice because that's victory 1. You're all going to get a victory point with it. And his signature weakness is Graveyard Ghouls. They're 3 fight, 3 health, 2 agility. Hitting you for 1 and 1. They prey William Yorick only. They hunt as well. And when they're engaged with you, your cards cannot leave your discard pile. So that's a bit of a stopper for William. That's William. And then finally, we've got Wendy Adams. So she is an urchin. She is, I don't know if mentioned William stats. He's a 3 will, 2 intellect, 4 fight, and 3 agility. Just in case, I can't remember if I said that or not. Oh, back to Wendy, the urchin drifter. She's got a 4 will, 3 intellect, 1 fight, and 4 agility. And she's again got a reaction to an exhauster. When you reveal a chaos token, choose and discard 1 card from your hand. Cancel that chaos token and return it to the bag. Reveal a new chaos token. Limit once per test or ability. Elder Sign effect is plus 0, plus 0. And if Wendy's amulet is in play, you automatically succeed instead. She's a 7/7, so fairly stable. She's got survivor cards 0 to 5, rogue cards 0 to 2, neutral cards 0 to 5. There we go. She comes in with Wendy's amulet, or doesn't come with it. It's in her deck. Wendy Adams deck only, and you may play the topmost event in your discard pile as if it was in your hand. Recycle stuff, that's pretty cool. Forced, after you play an event, place it on the bottom of your deck instead of your discard pile. Okay. And then she's got Revelation. She's got a Abandoned and a Lone weakness. And she takes 2 direct horror and remove all cards in your discard pile from the game. Ouch. There we go. Those are the 6 survivors that I've got. Now I'm not going to be doing with. Bob's not taking this trip, unfortunately. I think he's a bit too much of a multiplayer. I'm not. I'd like to play Calvin at some point because he seems like quite interesting. But for this playthrough, I'm playing him on a campaign. I don't think I'm going to be taking Calvin. Leaves Ash Can. And you also got to think about what your play style is. What do you enjoy doing? What brings you to the game? What are the fun bits for you? You know, and for me, it is about sort of like, taking on enemies, killing them, that type of stuff, and that's what I enjoy. And I play the game for fun. So why would I not sort of lean into what my preferred play style is? I'm not really a fan of sitting back and being the support type character, and you can't really be a support type character in true solo anyway. You have to build, in my opinion, you have to build your deck to be a bit of everything. You can specialize a little bit, but if you're not able to gain clues or you're not able to kill monsters, you're going to be in trouble. So on that basis, I don't think I'm going to play as Wendy. And don't think I'm going to play as Ashcan either. Because I think where I'm erring towards is a fighty sort of style character. I know I said that's sort of what I like, the Guardians and all that sort of stuff. Or Daryl. Now, Daryl was one of the newer type characters. William's a lot older. William came in for the Forgotten Age. The Forgotten Age, I think it was the second campaign after Dunnage Legacy. I could be wrong. Might be Dunnage Legacy. Who knows? That long ago. I think I'm going to make my mind up. And I'm going to go William Yorick. Out of all of the survivors, I think he's the one well, I like, for starters, I like the art. The artwork on him is really cool. And I love the idea of being a gravedigger. Wandering sort of the continents, because I've seen a bit about Scarlet Keys. I can see that you're sort of traveling all over the place, and it just seems that this gravedigger wandering around the place would be quite cool. So I'm going to go with your William. See how we get on with him. Right, I'm going to just pause the video for a second. It won't pause for you because that's the way that the internet and TV magic works. I'll pause the video, I'll put these cards away, I'll get the survivor cards out, and I think I need to get some guardian cards out, and we can start having a look at his deck. Right, see in a sec. Okay, right, now we're at the nitty gritty of the deck building. There has been some additions to the table. We've got all of our survivor cards. We have a cup of coffee. That is actually obligatory when you're deck building, the drink of your choice. Mine's coffee, so I've got a coffee. Now I've got all of my survivor cards out, and everybody's different on how they store their cards, etc. I store mine simply in cost value, so skills, nothing, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. I don't then categorize them. I just put them in cost, but everybody's different. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a look at the cards and then pick out cards I think might want to go into the deck. They're a good fit for you, William, and what he does, or they're a particularly good card for clues. I'm going to be focusing on things like clues and fighting, two of the main things in Arkham Horror. Lots of other stuff to do, but generally speaking, finding clues, killing monsters, pretty good with that. So I'll initially go through and take out cards what I think might want to go into the deck. This has got a deck value of 30, and you can only have 2 cards of any one kind in a deck. There are certain cards like permanents where you can only have one of them, etc. But we'll touch upon those as we go. So, quick slip of the coffee, and we'll work from left to right. So these are our skill cards. These don't cost anything. You generally play them as the title says when you're doing a skill test, a fight test, or an investigation, or any other type of skill test that Arkham Horror is asking you to do. And their value really is denoted by the symbol that they've got, or the symbols. This has got a wild symbol on it, which means it can be used for anything. So we'll go through these and we'll just pick out cards that I think are a potential yes. So Grizzled, that's a customizable card. Now this is a new set, a new type of card that came with the Scarlet Keys set, and you can upgrade them. So you've got cards that go with them, and as you play through the campaign, you can adjust them, amend them, increase them, do various things with them. So Grizzled says it's innate and it's developed, customizable. When you purchase Grizzled, choose and record 2 traits on the upgrade sheet. If this is a skill test on or against an encounter card, including fighting, evading, or parlaying, Grizzled gains a further 2 wild icons for each of the chosen traits that encounter possesses. So, reading that, so encounter cards will have traits on them, and I'm not going to go through all of them now, but basically you choose for 1 XP, you choose one. For 2 XP, you choose another trait. So you can have 2 traits. And basically, this card gets better. You can upgrade it as you go through. I'm not going to go through them all now. We'll do it as and when we play if this card is chosen. But you can upgrade it. So I am going to put that to one side and say, yeah, that's a definite maybe there. Grizzled, because I like the idea of being able to upgrade cards. And it's a new mechanic for Scarlet Keys. We've got not without a fight. That's got a will icon, a fight icon, and an agility icon. And it says commit to a skill test only if you are engaged with an enemy. For each enemy engaged with you, not without a fight, gains an additional icon. So it will be 2 will, 2 fight, or 2 agility. Now it says if only you are engaged with an enemy. So I'm going true solo. So I'm the only person that's ever going to be engaged with an enemy. So that seems like it could be quite good. So let's put that to one side. That's 4 cards already. Take heart, maximum 1 committed per skill test. You may commit take heart to any type of test. If the test fails, the performing investigator draws 2 cards and 2 resources. I'm not entirely sure of that one, so I'm going to put that on the no pile for the time being. Put the no pile there, so you can see what I'm doing. We've got survival instinct, an agility icon on it. If this skill test is successful during an evasion attempt, the evading investigator may immediately disengage from each other enemy engaged with him or her and may move to a connecting location. William's not bad at evading, but that's really not my focus for him. He's not like a roguey sort of evasiony type guy. I see him in my head. So I'm not going to take. Last chance. Now this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wild icons on it. It says commit only to a skill test with no other cards committed to it. Other cards cannot be committed to the skill test, and last chance loses a wild icon for each card in your hand. Again, without playing William, I'm not entirely sure how his hand is going to be. You've always got, 8 cards is the maximum in your hand size, and this has got 5 on it. So if you've got, the only benefit you're going to get to it is if you've got 4 cards or less in your hand, really. Not entirely sure on that one, so I'm going to put that to the no pile. Resourceful comes in with an intellect, a fight, and an agility icon. This has got, if this skill test is successful, choose a survivor card not named resourceful in your discard pile. Add the chosen card to your hand. Well, knowing what William seems to be about pulling from your discard pile, all that type of stuff, that feels like that could be a good one for him. So let's put those 2 there as a maybe. Stunning blow, fight icon. If this skill test is successful during an attack, automatically evade the attacking enemy. I'm not looking to evade, I'm looking to kill. So I'm going to put that to one side. And then rise to the occasion. 3 wild icons. Commit only to a skill test you are performing, and only if the skill of that test is at least 2 higher than your base skill value. Well, there's a potential there. 4 fight. There aren't many monsters in the game. I haven't played Scarlet Keys, so I could be completely wrong. It would be 6 fight. I mean, some of the bosses and elites maybe, but they're few and far between. Where it could be useful is his book icon, his intellect icon is 2. And there's a lot of shroud value type things in there that are 4. So that could be pretty good. So there's a lot of skills in there so far. I'm probably not going to use all of these, but I'm going to put them in the maybe pile for the time being. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8 so far. That leaves us 22 cards to play with. Like I say, this is just first cut, if you like. And we've got nothing cost cards. Predator or prey. Maximum 2 dilemmas per round. Revelation. If there are no enemies in play, draw 1 card. Otherwise, you must decide. Choose one. Each unengaged enemy moves once towards the nearest investigator. Each investigator disengages from each enemy engaged and moves once away from the nearest enemy. Nope, that's going to be a nope. Making preparations. Maximum 2 dilemmas per round. Revelation. Choose 2 skills. So you can choose any one of the 4, well, any 2 of the 4 skills. Until the end of the investigation phase, each investigator gets +1 to each of those chosen skills and -1 to each other skill. So he would go fight 5, he would go to intellect 3, he would go to will 4. That's a maybe. And then short supplies are permanent, limit 1 per deck, purchase at deck creation. Forced, when your first turn of the game begins, discard the top 10 cards of your deck. I mean, William is all about the discard pile, but again, I'm not. I don't really want to be discarding the top 10 cards of my deck. I could be getting that completely wrong. So we go on to the 0 cost cards. This is end of the road, fast. Play during your turn only if the final agenda is in play. Draw 1 card, 1 resource, and gain 1 additional action. Remove end of the road from the game. Quite situational. Final agenda. Who's that? Jury rig. Comes in with a fight icon and an intellect icon. It's got 3 uses. You can attach to an item asset controlled by an investigator or location. And then it's as a fast action or as a free action sort of thing. During a skill test on attached asset, spend 1 durability, get +2 value for this test. Excuse me, definitely going to take that. Live and learn fast. After your skill test you fail ends, after resolving all effects from the failed test, attempt the test again at a +2 skill value for this test. That sounds quite good. Put it in. Again, we're gonna cull these. Don't panic. Cherished keepsake. It's a accessory slot. Comes in with no health but 2 sanity. 0 cost. So that would bump William's sanity up. So that's pretty good. We've got 2 of those. We have 4 of those for some reason. So go in there. And we've got leather coat. 2 health. That's a clothing icon. I can't remember what the name of it is, but we'll put it in there just for giggles. How many got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Got 12 left. And we've used quite a bit so far, so we're going to have to do some culling. We're not even halfway through yet. So we go on to the ones. Improvised shield, 1 cost, 3 health on it. Improvised shield can only be played from your discard pile. Forced. When improvised shield is defeated, shuffle it into your deck instead of discarding it. That does seem like a bit of a William card, so we'll put that there. Makeshift trap is another upgradable one. Customizable, uses 2 at a time, or 2 time. If makeshift trap has no time, discard it. Oh, this is linked to the time in Scarlet Keys. Attached to your location. Each non-elite enemy at your location gets -1 fight, -1 evade. At the end of the round, remove 1 time from makeshift trap. Not going to take that. Lucky, fast. Play when you would fail a skill test. Get +2 skill value to the rest of your test for that test. I'm going to take lucky. Fight or flight. Play only during your turn until the end of the round. You get +X fight and +X ability, where X is the amount of horror on you. I don't think that's going to be great. Now we come into some weapons. We need some weapons. We've got the fire axe. It's an action to fight. It's a 1 cost asset. Uses 1 hand slot. Fight. If you have no resources in your resource pool, this attack gains +1 damage. And as a free action, during an attack using fire axe, spend 1 resource to get +2 the fight test. We'll put it in for the time being. Well, I could always be cold. Rabbit's Foot. After you fail a skill test, exhaust Rabbit's Foot, draw 1 card. No. Scavenging, the talent, as a reaction or to exhaust it. After you successfully investigate by 2 or more, exhaust scavenging, choose an item card in your discard pile and add it to your hand. Essentially. Newspaper, you get +2 book while investigating if you have no clues. You have no clues. Situational. Improvised weapon. You may play improvised weapon from your discard pile. If you do, shuffle it into your deck after resolving its effects. Fight. The attack enemy gains -1 fight for this attack. If you have played improvised weapon from your discard pile, this attack deals +1 damage. So, chance encounter. Choose an ally asset in play in the player's discard pile. Put that asset into play under your control. No, going to lose that. Hiding spot. Fast. Attached hiding spot to any location. Each non-elite enemy at attached location gains aloof. At the end of the enemy phase, if a ready enemy is attached to the location, destroy hiding spot. Right. Bait and switch. Evade. If you succeed, if there's an enemy, non-elite enemy, evade the enemy and move it to a connecting location. No, we're not evading. Impromptu barrier. You may play impromptu barrier from your discard pile. If you do, shuffle it into your deck after resolving its effects. The chosen enemy gets -1 evade for this evasion attempt. Again, we're not evading, so that's going to be going. Winging it, 1 cost event. You may play winging it from your discard pile. If you do, shuffle it into your deck after resolving its effects. Your location gets -1 shroud for this investigation. Possibly. Helps with our investigation. Stray cat. Discard stray cat or massively evade an enemy. No. Go across to the 2 cost. Shed a light. Fast. Play when revealing a chaos token doing an investigation you're performing, and only if the difficulty of this test is currently 0. This test automatically succeeds. You discover 1 additional clue at this location and 1 additional clue at any location. No. Exploit weakness. Fast. Play after revealing a chaos token doing an attack or an evasion attempt you are performing, and only if the difficulty of this test is currently at 0. No. Schaffner's Catalogue. 2 cost. Uses 5 secrets. If Schaffner's Catalogue has no secrets, discard it. You may spend secrets on Schaffner's Catalogue as resources to pay for item aspects played by any investigators at your location. We are going to be getting some items, so potentially. Bandages, 3 supplies. If it's got no supplies, discard it. We can heal. Attach after to exhaust it. After an investigator or an ally asset at your location takes 1 or more damage, spend 1 supply, heal 1 damage. No. Baseball bat. You get +2 fight for this attack. +2 fight for this attack. The attack deals +1 damage, and if a skull or a auto fail sign is revealed during the attack, discard baseball bat. Uses 2 hands, but we'll have baseball bat. No, don't think we are. There's a reason for that. I'll come back to that in a bit. Look what I found. Fast. After you fail a skill test by 2 or less while investigating, discover 2 clues at your location. Definitely. Dig deep. 2 cost asset. I can spend a resource to get +1 intellect or will or +1 agility. No. Madame Labranche. If you have, she's a 2 cost ally, 2 health, 2 sanity. If you have no cards in your hand, exhaust her to draw a card. No resources, exhaust her to gain a resource. No. Lantern. Investigate. Your location gets -1 shroud for this investigation as an action. Discard as another action. Discard lantern. Deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. Don't think so. Dumb luck. Play after you fail a skill test by 2 or less during an evasion attempt. We're not going to be evading. Perseverance. Play when you were assigned damage and or horror that would defeat you. Cancel up to 4 of that. Again, situational. Gravedigger's shovel. Fight. You get +2 fight for this attack. Discard Gravedigger's shovel as an action. That's it. And then another action, discard it to discover 1 clue at your location. Doesn't do the plus damage. I think there's better. I think there are better weapons coming up. And then oops. Play after you fail a skill test by 2 or less when attacking an enemy engagement with you. Deal this attack's damage to a different enemy at your location. Again, situational. We've got the 3 cost cards. We've got Idol of Xanatos. It's an accessory slot. When you're dealt damage and or horror, exhaust it and discard 3 cards from your hand. Cancel that much horror. No. Pocket multi-tool is another upgradable one. I think I do want to take pocket multi-tool. I feel like I want to upgrade stuff. Waylay. Choose an exhausted non-elite enemy at your location and test agility. No. Peter Sylvester. Get +1 agility, and after your turn ends, heal 1 horror from Peter Sylvester. He is quite stable in a lot of survivor decks. 1 health, 2 sanity soak, 3 cost ally. And Dark Horse, 3 cost, limit 1 per investigator. During the upkeep phase, you may choose not to gain resources. While you have no resources in your resource pool, you get +1 across your stats. Again, another staple of some survivor decks. I'm not going to take that. Probably people shouting at the screen go, why aren't you taking that? Okay, and then we've got our 5 cost, cunning distraction, evade, automatically evade all enemies at your location. I'm not going to take that either. Right, let's just pause there and we'll have a count up. Okay. So, kind of quick count up. We've got 34 cards. We've got 34 cards in play at the moment. Clearly don't need all of those at all. And I would like to get to a point where it's a deck of 30. I'd like maybe 20 cards. And I always like to play doubles. I know it's a thing. Where I'd like maybe 10 or so cards from the Guardian set. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause for a sec because I need to look at what cards out of these are maybe upgradable via XP and stuff like that, so bear with me. Right, I've just been through some of the XP cards and it doesn't really help me too much. So what we need to do is 34 here. We're going to cut 7 of them. So that takes us down to 20. We're going to have to be quite ruthless at this point. So first of all, looking at this, we're going to be discarding the leather coat. So we've already got 8 health. So I don't think we really need too much soak on that. So the leather coat's going to go. I think not without a fight is going to go. Commit to a skill test only if you're engaged with an enemy. You're going to get +2, so it doesn't feel overly great. I think scavenging's going to go after you successfully investigate by 2 or more. I don't know whether that's always going to happen. So that's going to go. Four more. I think making preparations is going to go. I think winging it going to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think rise to the occasion is going to go. I think Shrapner's catalogue's going to go. Yeah. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay. Put those to one side. Sort all those out in a bit. So these are our 20 survivor cards. Those to one side for a second. I'll pause the video and we'll get the Guardian stuff out. Okay, we've got the Guardian cards out. Now, been having a little bit of a think off camera, and I've made some more amendments. I am taking out Grizzled and I am taking out the Fire Axe. And I'm putting back in Schaffner's catalogue. So that gives us currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 cards for Survivor. So that means we've got 12 cards to play with for Guardian cards, because obviously it is Guardian cards level 0 to 2. Well, obviously these are all level 0 ones anyway. So let's have a look through. We've got those 6 slots effectively of 2 cards. Got Helping Hands. You may commit Helping Hand to any type of test, maximum once committed per test. While Helping Hand is committed to miss skill test, double skill cards of each other. No. Fighting Lessons, commit only to a skill test during an attack or an evasion. Can commit the skill test to investigators, test any location. Well, we don't need that. Vicious Blow is again a staple. If this skill test is successful during a deal +1 damage, that's a definite possibility, maybe. We've got Intrepid. If the skill test is successful, add Intrepid to your play area with the text. You get +1 intellect, +1 fight, +1 agility. At the end of the round, discard it. Right. Inspiring Presence. Ready an ally asset. We haven't got too many allies, so don't worry about that. Leadership is committed to a skill test being performed by another investigator. We're not going to worry about that. Take the initiative. Commit only to a skill test you are performing. Loses. It's got 3 wild icons, and it loses a wild icon for each action that's been completed by an investigator this phase. So if you do something to start off with, good. Again, situational. So I'm not going to worry about that. Geared up. Limit one per deck. Purchase at deck creation. Force. When your first turn of the game begins, play any number of item assets from your hand, reducing the cost of each by 1. During this turn, you have 3 fewer actions to take. Right. Motivational speech. Choose an investigator at your location. That investigator may play an ally asset, reducing their cost by 3. Again, we're not overly ally heavy. Toe-to-toe fight. This attack deals +1 damage and is automatically successful. As an additional cost to perform this attack, the chosen enemy makes an attack against you. Entirely sure on that one. Let me handle this. Play after another investigator. No, that's a multiplayer. Play fast. Play during any fast window until the end of the phase. Whenever an enemy would attack another investigator or location. No, that's multiplayer. Teamwork. Investigators your location may give or trade. No. I'll see you in hell. Each non-elite engaged enemy with you is defeated. You are defeated. Pass. Evidence. Fast. Play when you would defeat an enemy. Discover 1 clue at your location. Absolutely for William. He's about killing and about getting clues. 1 in the chamber. Fast. Play at the end of an attack or an effect that spends at least 1 ammo from a firearm. I'm not planning on having any firearms with William, so not that. Grievous wound. Fast. Play after you successfully attack a non-elite enemy using a melee asset. Attach grievous wound to attached enemy. Forced. At the end of the round, deal 1 damage to attached enemy. That could be useful. Kicking off the last bit of damage. Bolas. Evade. No, we're not doing evade. Dodge. Fast. Play when an enemy attacks an investigator at your location. Cancel. No. Second wind. Play only as your first action. Heal 1 damage. Then draw a card. No. Trusted. Fast. Play only during your turn. Attached to an ally asset. Gets +1 health, +1 sanity. No. Taunt. Engage any number of enemies at your location. No. Yorick Rescue. Fast. Play when a non-elite enemy would attack another investigator. No. If it bleeds. Fast. Play after you defeat a monster enemy. Each investigator at your location heals horror equals that enemy's horror value. Possibly. Possibly. That's 4 of 6. Heroic Rescue. Fast. Play when a non-elite enemy would attack another investigator. No. Trench Knife. 1 cost asset. Engage actions you perform do not provoke attacks of opportunity. Fight. You get +X fight for this attack. X is the number of enemies engaged with us. Usually going to be 1. Doesn't do the plus damage. I don't want the plus damage. Blackjack. Fight. You get +1 attack. You perform this attack against an enemy engaged with another investigator. No. prepared for the worst. Search the top 9 cards of your deck for a weapon asset and add it to your hand. That's a potential. On the hunt. Fast. Play when you withdraw an encounter during the Mythos phase. Instead, search the top 9 cards of your encounter deck for an enemy. Spawn it, engage with you. No. 2s. Breach the door. Test strength 1. If you succeed, attach breach the door to your location with 1 resource on it for each point you succeeded by. Reduce attached location shroud by 1 for each lead on breach the door. Fight 1, fight 4. Be interesting. Reduce attached location shroud by 1 for, because that's test fight 1. I'm fight 4. Average here -1, -2s. I'm going to put it down as a potential. I've only got 6 slots. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far. Survival knife, +1 fight for the attack. After an enemy attacks you and deals damage to you during the enemy phase, exhaust survival knife. This attack targets the attacking enemy. You get +2 fight and deal +1 damage. Nice. Got to be hit and attacked. No. Handcuffs. Evading. Scene of the crime. Play only as your first action. Discover 1 clue at your location. 2 clues if there is no enemy at your location. It doesn't provide attacks of opportunities. Auto clues is good. Emergency aid. Heal 2 damage from an investigator or an ally. Physical training. Spend a resource and either increase by +1 your will or your fight. First aid, heal 1 damage or horror. Bandolier, you have 1 additional hand slot which can only be used for a weapon asset. I do think I want that. There's a reason. There is a reason. Okay, we're getting there. Obsidian bracelet, 3 and 3 sanity and health. Obsidian bracelet may only be assigned damage or horror dealt by treachery effects. I don't think we've got a slot for that. Custom modifications attached to a firearm. We're not using firearms. Colt is a firearm. Guard dog is again a standard classic guardian card, but I don't think we've got the slot to him for him. Guard dog. Machete is one of the ones I was after. Fight, you get +1 fight for this attack, and for the attacked enemy is the only enemy, you can deal +1 damage. So there's machete, and then true grit. True grit may be assigned damage dealt with to investigators, other investigators location. Right? This is one I wanted. Runic Axe, 4 cost item, customizable, uses 4 charges. Replenish 1 of these charges at the start of each round. Action is fight. You get +1 fight for this attack. Before this attack, you may spend any number of charges to imbue the axe with many different inscriptions. The ones that are on there at the moment are accuracy, which is +2 fight for this attack, and power deals +1 damage. So that's a 2-handed weapon. One of the reasons why I was thinking bandolier is going to help us. Hunter's armor is customizable. I don't think I've got the slot for that. Venturer, 3 supplies, 4 costs. Spend 1 supply. Place 1 supply or ammo. No. An automatic gun, don't need. Beat cop again, classic. Don't think we've got the space for beat cop. Then dynamite blasters are 5s. So here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to choose from. We've got to choose 6. Well, definitely Runic Axe. That's definitely going to be runic axe, and we're definitely going to have the machete. But there are two weapons. They don't. I mean, obviously, runic axe uses charges, but it does replenish one at the start of each round. I don't think I've got any more weapons in here now. Got shield. Got the jury rig. Quite handy. +2 skill value. Got the pocket multi-tool. That's not a weapon. But I have got Shrofner's catalogue. 5 secrets, and I can spend it on a weapon. I'm definitely going to be taking the machete, and I'm definitely going to be taking the runic axe. That's a two-handed weapon. That's a one-handed weapon. So I am going to put bandolier in. So those 3 are my weapons helping out. Now I think I need to do some clue-based stuff. I'm going to take evidence, which is fast. When you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue at your location. I am going to take scene of the crime, which is first action. I discover 2 clues. If there are discover a clue at your location, 2 clues if there are no enemies. I think I am going to take breach the door. Test fight 1. Attach that to the location with 1 resource on it. Each point you succeeded by, reduce the location shroud by 1. I'm only intellect 2, but actually thinking about it, where are we? I think need to do with them. I think were they here? Got loads of cards all over the place. Thinking, do I need a perception? Do I need 2 copies of perception in there? Have I got enough stuff to help with clue gathering? Forceful. Live and learn gives me +2 skill value. When I fail a test, I can attempt it again at +2, so I could use that for investigating. Lucky. I can fail a skill test to get a clue, but I get +2 skill to do it again. Shield is not that. Cherished keepsake. I need that. That's my +2 sanity. I've got my jury rig. Got my look what I found, discovered clues when I fail a test. Multi-purpose tool, I'm getting +1 skill value, and I can increase that for investigations. I think I'm covered on the investigations actually. I'm not entirely sure I need breach the door or a perception. I'm not entirely sure I need that. What did we get rid of over here? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 1 more slot left. 2 cards. Got these. I've taken out. I've got perception if I need it. These I'm all done with. What did we get rid of there? We got rid of the fire axe. Six weapons. Fire axe. Aye. Leather coat. +2 health. 0 cost. 0 cost for 2 health. Four weapons. You know what? I think I'm going to take the leather coat. Plus 2 health. We're done. Okay. Bear with me, and I'm going to get it all sorted out, get it sleeved up, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Coffee is finished. We're all done. We've got a deck of 30 cards for William Yorick. We have got a mixture of Guardian, obviously, but mainly Survivor cards in there. We've got 2 upgradable weapons and stuff and items. I did want to take these actually because obviously Scarlet Keys. This is a new way of doing things for this particular campaign. Runic Axe is from the Guardian, and the Pocket Multi Tool is from the Survivor. Running out of words. The Survivor plus. So quite nice. I've got those actually. That should be good. Very nice. So we've given these a shuffle up. We've got our 30 cards. We've got our weaknesses and stuff in there. We've got our specials in there. Just have a couple of hands to draw, and then we'll call it a day to see what we get. So this would be our open hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. So we would get Bandolier, pretty good. A Bandolier, we'd mulligan that. We've got a Schiffner's catalogue. We've got a Scene of the Crime, and we've got a Resourceful. So we probably would mulligan that. We'd probably, to be fair, probably keep those 3. So we would get Cherished Keepsake and another Scene of the Crime. I'll probably be mulligan trying to get some weapons, obviously. That's the first. That's not too bad as an open hand. Cherished Cheapskate would come in for nothing to give me 2 additional sanity. Got 2 resources to play Scene of the Crime. Get that out. And I'll probably play 4 resources in total to get Schaffner's catalogue out. Keep those 2 in hand. Got 5 then for when our weapon does come out. Bad. Not bad opening hands. Please shuffle one more time, and then I won't delay you any longer. We'll call it a... Don't know if you heard that on the video, but one of my neighbours has just decided to start his motorbike up. Final hand. Catweasel cut. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What have we got? We've got an improvised shield. Can only be played from our discard pile. Need to work out how it's shaking out to play then. We've got our evidence. We've got a bandolier again. We've got a Scene of the Crime, and we've got a machete. I'd probably be mulligan that. Evidence I would keep. Bandolier I'd probably keep because the machete's now in play. Probably keep those 4. Mulligan for 1 more. Jury rig. Very nice. Machete and jury rig in play. And then we've got resources or Scene of the Crime and evidence. Good. Right. That is it. Let's see how William, on his Todd, on his own, is going to take on the Scarlet Keys campaign. I'm looking forward to it. True solo is always going to be an exciting time to play, but that's going to be coming up. The next episode is going to be the intro into it. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. I'm sorry if it's been a bit too long, but I wanted to sort of just go through how I put together a deck. Obviously, as I explained at the start, I am limited. There are a lot of cards that would have been nice to put in the deck, but I don't actually have them, so I have to work with what I've got. Anyway, that's enough of me rabbiting on. You all take care, and ta-da for now.